Hutch, the man who let me on his boat before, my big ass rolling around the trampoline. How are you, bro?
Doing good, thanks.
So that was a pretty intense last race, but the start was wonky. You know, I heard you say we're going for the port, and then it all fell apart. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I mean, I just did a bad job of execution. I think the plan was good. The guy that started right to leeward of us did nice work, and I think he got around the top mark in third. But yeah, I mean, as I said on the way in, I just did a bad job of executing it, and so
it happens. But you had a great day, right?
Yeah, we had a really good day. You know, I mean, I think it was a really another solid team day. You know, Morgan and Julian and Sean are just awesome on the boat, and you know, it allows for, I mean, having that quality of sailor on the boat allows me to just take care of my own job and do that about as well as I possibly can, because I know they're achieving equal, if not better, in their world, and generally I'm the one that's letting us down.
I'm amazed at the level of, I mean, compared to different boats. Obviously, we're on board with a few boats listening, and your boat, there is extremely little talking from the crew. There is short observations, and then you talk through everything that happens on the boat. Is that normal, you think, out here? It doesn't seem like that's the norm. It seems like most of the other boats are a bit more chatty.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's the benefit of sailing with Sean and Morgan.
Just that communication level.
Yeah, and Julian, this is the second regatta that he and I have sailed together, and but I mean, there's a guy that has so much experience, and that when he says something, you know that you need to listen, because he's that good that you just need to listen to him.
So are you trying? I mean, is this the core crew for the 45, or?
No, we're going to keep rotating people through on the 45. You know, we have 13 people right now on the Artemis sailing team, and so everybody's going to continue to race. And you know, it's pretty important for us, big picture, looking ahead, that we have really versatile sailors, and everybody's on the same experience level on the multi-hull. And so we're going to use all the opportunities that we have to continue to have crew rotations and try to upskill everybody as quick as we can.
All right. What do you think about the Portugal event? You excited about it?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be different. You know, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how that type of racing compares to this type of racing. I think you know, the Defenders set out an ambitious schedule for us to try to take on, and you know, time will tell if we can achieve it or not. But it's you know, as a professional, it's nice to I appreciate the effort that they're trying to make it happen. And that's not a.
You remain cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, you remain optimistic. I mean, as you and I talked about on the way in, I mean, they've bitten off a pretty big pretty big thing here to take on, and you know, and so, you know, but it's nice as a professional to have the opportunity, first of all, and then if it goes and it works, well, then it's icing on the cake, and you know, we hopefully have more employment for another 5 or 7 years.
Let's ask you this. We had that little talk the first night, and you talked a little bit about the monohull and multi-hull decision. Obviously, these are super fun, and everyone loves them. And we're seeing sailing grow again with people moving to multi-hulls and buying all sorts of cats. Do you think that gets sustained if Artemis wins it? Does that go back? I mean, can we go back? Can we go slower?
I think we can always go back. Going backwards is probably pretty easy. It's moving it forward, and in the conversations that I've sat in with Torbjorn and with Paul, I mean, Torbjorn's a visionary of the sport, and so I'm not sure he would take it back. You know, ultimately it'll be his decision.
Sure.
And so, you know, the one thing I am confident with is if this doesn't work, we can always go back, and it will be just as good and just as unique. But you know, I think we're in a unique opportunity right now where there's the wherewithal from the Defender side to actually foot the bill for a lot of this, and the fact that we have the opportunity to potentially raise the level for television and for spectating and for comms coming off the boat, I mean, it could make it for a fairly exciting thing to watch. And I'm personally not all that angst up about how many competitors we have, because I think if there's 2 teams, it's still going to be a spectacle. I mean, I can promise you.
And it'll be cheaper.
Well, yeah,
for everyone to pay off TV and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, it'll be, you know, there's going to be, you know, there'll be a certain number of teams, and Russell says there's going to be 8, and so, you know, we don't really have anything else to go off of right now. So time will tell if we
don't
get
have to
there.
wait too long for the proof to come out, right? I mean, it's been a wait, but I think it's coming together. I have a question about sort of Paul, because we remember this World Sailing League concept that he and Russell envisioned, and you know, there's people that say, well, now that means they're in collusion and whatever. But my question's not about it. It's really about, do you think that Paul feels sort of really excited about that this is almost like that? And
No, he definitely does, and I can't speak specifically for him, but having sat in meetings with him and listening to him speak about growing the sport of sailing, you know, back in 2000, I know the deal with St. Francis Yacht Club was, if we'd won with America One, that there was going to be a separate entity running the America's Cup. And so he's had the vision that's happening right now, he's had for a while, and I give him credit for standing by it, you know, when a lot of times it's been poo-pooed. You know, he kind of.
We never poo-pooed it.
No, not.
I never poo-pooed
yeah, no,
it.
not by you guys, but by I mean, there's just times that you just hear negative things about it. But he's been, you know, he's a smart guy, and he sees the value for the younger generation because he's benefited from, you know.
He's got a kid that's in high performance boats.
Yeah,
and, you know?
and so he sees, you know, he has a pretty good vision with it all, and I actually. You know, I think the vision that we're executing now is potentially more his vision than it was actually Russell's. But that's not, I mean, that's not necessarily probably what you asked, but it's, you know, they started something with the WSL, you know, 6 or 7 years ago, and it was a fairly cool concept. And, you know, you look at what's going on with these MOD 70s that these guys are going to go ripping around the world in, and that's, you know, it's a similar concept. And so it's, you know, it has great potential to bring really, really good action. You know, I was watching the NASCAR race last night, of all things, you know, trying to lull myself to sleep. And you watch those guys racing bumper to bumper and dragging themselves around the track. I mean, that was, to me, watching that, I was like, man, that is a serious level of concentration those guys have going on. Yeah. And these 72s and this venue that we're going to be racing is going to provide the same type of action.
Back to the racing here. During that race, you looked around and you went, you know, all we care about is Team New Zealand. Even though I think Muscat, the way
did I say
you said something like just where, you know, where's New Zealand? Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did. I saw, and then you looked around, and then you looked around. They were kind of split, and you tacked off. I mean, you get to tell you got to target on Dean a little bit. Come on.
Nah.
No rivalry, no sort of friendly rivalry. I mean, obviously.
There's definitely a friendly rivalry, you know.
But it's friendly.
Yeah, absolutely. When we when I crewed for him, you know, when I was a tactician of Team New Zealand in the last Cup, you know, I'd always you know, say, I'm not quite sure I would have done it like that. And he'd say, well, I look forward to the day that we get to race each other. And, you know, he's a quality person. And
but there's justice in that. And honestly, I like to see it. I'm excited to see you face off against those boys in big boats.
I am, too. I'm really excited about it. I mean, I think there's you know, time will tell. But, you know, obviously there's a huge amount of respect for that team from my perspective and from Artemis's perspective. But I welcome the opportunity and the challenge that we have.
There you have it. The man, T. Hutch, giving us time every day. I appreciate it always. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Get some sleep again tonight. You had a good one. Cheers.